This is the sound of regret, ladies and gentlemen. This is what regret sounds like.
This is what regret sounds like.
Hello, my name is Mrs. Melanin.
And I'm BELEAF Mel.
And we're here with episode 136 of How Married Are You?
Okay, my name BELEAF. This is Yvette, and we've been married 12 years. Live in California. We got four kids. Relationships scary, and it's very necessary that we share our love of struggles. And we ask, how married are you? Every week on a Thursday, shoddy. If you're listening, you're in the wedding party. It's okay if you want to put your hands up. You got the questions, we got the answers.
It's chocolate baby story time.
Chocolate baby story time.
It's chocolate baby story time.
1, 2, 3, and... Oh, sorry about that.
It's chocolate baby story time.
Hello?
I'm trying to think of a chocolate baby story. You got one? You could have started instead of pointing out the fact that I am figuring it out.
Okay. The kids asked me, what question did they ask me the other morning? Oh, yeah. Raya said, Dad, why didn't you just pay all the money for the house?
Goofball.
Why didn't you just pay all the money it costs for the house so you don't have to pay every month? And I'm like, bro, it was, over $500,000 for this house. Like, that's a lot of money. He's like, well, why don't you just have it? And I just was like,
He doesn't understand.
I had to go and break down everything. And he's just like, oh, okay. But the chocolate babies are the star of the show, so we should be making money too.
He said that?
Yeah.
I missed that part.
Yeah, you left. And I was like, you guys do make money. You guys will have enough money by the time you're our age to buy the whole house. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
They will.
If you play your cards right and don't spend it all on
Facts.
bull crap.
Facts.
But right now you don't need anything, right? Mm-hmm. You got everything you need. You know what I'm saying? Your bank account looks fine. Your bank account looks better than our bank account. You understand me?
Because there's only money going in and not coming out.
Exactly. So, to be young.
To be young, for real. Do you want me to renew this one? I'm sorry, just one question.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. My chocolate baby story has to do with the fact that Theo had a project due today.
I saw that thing on the countertop. It was so good looking. Who did it?
So basically, like, Theo has been sick. Theo hasn't been to school in like maybe 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Mind you, one of those weeks was Thanksgiving break. However, they had a project due like the week before Thanksgiving break. And I'm not going to lie, Theo was probably fine enough to go to school, but I kept him home because I was like, we didn't do this project and I'm not trying to stress over it and turn it in. So, he kept him home. Plus, there's a lot of germs, whatever. Look at God. The teacher sends an email out saying, you know what, with all the sickness and this, why don't you guys just wait to turn in the project after Thanksgiving?
Wow.
Right? And so I'm taking this as like, I literally thought the Lord was wrapping his arms around me to give me a deep hug because I just didn't have what it took to do this project.
Yeah.
Now, I was thinking, okay, I'll work on this with Theo over Thanksgiving break. We'll get some stuff done. We'll get caught up on school in general. Mm-hmm. Did we do that?
No.
No.
I was there.
We did not do that.
I was there
We
some of the
did
time.
0 school the week of Thanksgiving. This weekend, Saturday, Sunday, I'm like, okay, we'll get to the project. We'll do some things. Did we do anything? No. Yesterday, the day before the daggone project is due, I'm like, okay, bro, we got it. This is our focus. I don't even care if we get anything else done, but we are going to show up with our project.
That project looks outstanding.
So I did some pre-work. I printed out pictures of some of the things. I cut them out, and I did like a couple of other things. We're like, it's time to assemble everything, right?
Yeah.
And the thing about it is I realized I had an image of what the project should look like. So basically he has to do like a state float for the state of California. It's like, you know how you had homecoming floats and stuff like that, but it's a state float, but a shoebox size. And I looked up on Pinterest some ideas of things that, you know, I'm like, I don't even know what this looks like because I've only done ASB size floats. And so I was like, oh, this is cool. I got the idea in my head. So I had a picture of what the float was going to look like in my head.
That's your first problem.
That was my first problem. And then it came time to working on it. And my child, he wants to be a part.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't like, he wants to be a part to the point where like, he wants to be he wants to design it and do all the things.
It's his project.
No. Let me just tell you something. I didn't realize until yesterday how bad my control issues are.
I realized it a long time ago.
I know you did, but it was insane. I was like, there was moments when I was on the outside looking in because Thea would go, Mom, can I do it? He would be like, Mom, I could do it. Mom. Like there was one point where he wanted to cut out. So I had like the California, like the word California, and I wanted to cut around the letters and stuff. And Thea was like, Mom, let me do it. Mom. And I let him do it. And it was not like I would have done it.
Wow.
But as like, so I started to loosen up a little bit and let him get his groove and do things. And I was like suggesting things like the waves, you know, whatever. Glenn says I'm taking too long to tell the story. Anyway, I just realized how bad my control issues are. And my sweet, sweet son was so gracious in his efforts to be a part. I will say though, at the end of it, he was super proud of the float, and he was like, "This is the best project we've ever done."
Yeah.
And at the end, so for the month of November, we've been doing like I'm thankful for things. We're supposed to do it every day, but we haven't necessarily done it every day. But last night, at the end of the day, Theo goes, "I'm thankful for working on my project with my mom."
Oh,
I felt so loved.
that's so great. I hope that he will have more control in the future.
Yeah, I realized that like I can offer suggestions and things like that because I've offered him suggestions in the past, like his remember that one project that he did?
He has a very low standard for work ethic, like except on different like on sports and stuff like that, he'll try really hard, but in school, you know, he doesn't try that hard. And so
he's like, what is the minimum I have to do? That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
He doesn't like to exceed expectations or be creative or anything like that, which is weird because he also is very creative.
Right. I think what we should do is maybe next time give him 2 examples of it done really well. Give him examples of it done really well, and then the bare minimum, and see what he would like to do, and then have him work toward it looking like that. Because what I do notice about being married to you as your husband, can I speak for you? I'm gonna turn down a chocolate baby story time now because
I am ready to receive.
You notice this part in hindsight.
Yeah.
But in the beginning of it happening again, you don't know it's happening. And so when it comes to decorating the Christmas tree,
oh my gosh,
or anything else, how I do your hair, like sometimes you're just like, it's like, never mind, because I don't want you to be the kid that doesn't get played with. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the type of stuff where it's kind of like, oh, let's pick out your wedding dress, fiance. Huh? Oh, Yvette says, Mom, oh, I'd like to come. You know what I'm saying? Or the cake for the wedding, or, you know, we want to be a part of those things. We don't want to be excluded for those things. And you not being invited means I don't get invited. Do you understand? Do you understand?
Oh my goodness.
I just don't, I mean, not that I experienced this, but you know, monster-in-law is a real thing.
It is.
You know.
I need to get a handle. I actually bought journals that I got for the older 2 boys because they can read, and it's like a thing where I'm going to write to them, and I'm hoping they'll write back to me, and we'll keep that going for a while. And I was thinking I haven't started it yet, but I was thinking my first letter will be, Theo, I'm so sorry I didn't like I was so controlling.
Yeah.
Because you are super, like I want to empower him in his ideas and in his ability because he had great ideas. Did you see the Eureka?
Yeah. That was his idea?
That was him.
Oh. It was good.
It looked great. In the end, it looked great, but it didn't fit the vibe of the whole.
He's 9.
He's 9.
He's 9.
Yes.
That looked like a group project.
It was. It really was. But yeah.
Jeez. Okay, let's hop into this topic now.
Okay, so Glenn actually had a guest at our door.
I didn't have a guest.
Glenn be having people in our house, y'all. I literally come downstairs in my robe and there's a man at our dining room table. Anywho, Glenn and this young man had a conversation because
He wasn't even in the house.
Well, he was in the house first, and then he came back to the house, and you didn't let him in.
Right. I didn't let him in the second time.
Anywho, he found out who, like, I don't know how he looked us up, but he found us on the interwebs, and he found out that we have a marriage podcast, and he was asking Glenn, why don't you give us a recap of the conversation, then I'll take it.
Yeah, it's all on my Ring doorbell because we were talking on the Ring doorbell.
We're not going to, like, put that out.
Okay.
Are we?
He said we could.
Oh, you asked him.
He said, I wish we were recording this, and I just pointed to the doorbell.
Oh, and then what did he say?
Great.
Oh, okay. Well, then insert ring
Part
camera.
of this, yeah, part of the conversation. So the gist of the conversation was the young man was saying, man, I've been dating this lady for 2 months, this young lady for 2 months.
Why did you repeat that? That was weird.
Because a lady and a young lady.
Oh, sorry.
So I've been dating this person for 2 months, and I'm ready. I'm ready to propose. I know this is it. Society puts it on me that, I have to wait. And that how do you know when the right time to get married is? And I thought that was a really good question. And I gave him a really good answer for me being, one, caught off guard, two, like kind of weary because I didn't know what this dude's MO was. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, why is this dude talking to me like I'm literally in my pajamas still? You know what I'm saying? It was like one of them all day pajama days. So I'm like, oh my gosh, and I didn't really understand what this dude's MO was. I didn't know why he, was asking me this question. And so I thought that was a good question to talk about on the podcast, because what's interesting about our season is that we got together in
March 2009.
I'm just trying to think when we started dating. So we started dating January, got together in March. I had a ring on layaway by August.
Okay,
August.
so let's just recap. I don't even know if it was the beginning of January that we started dating. So, but we'll call it 3 months. It was from January. Actually, it was March 13th. So let's call it January. Okay, so February, March. I think it was like 2 months.
Yeah, 2 months
of dating that led to the DTR of, okay, we have intentions to date, to marry, or like to pursue each other, whatever. That was March 13th, 2009. Glenn put a ring on layaway
6 months later.
6 months later. 5 months later. August?
Mm-hmm.
So 5 months later, Glenn put a ring on layaway. Now, if that were my daughter, like if it were my child, if it were my son, and he had been dating a girl for 5 months, and he told me, Mom, I'm going to go put a ring on layaway.
But your son's like 24, 25 years old. Your son is 25.
All right.
He's not just your son. He's a 25-year-old adult.
You were not 25. You were 24.
I was 25 by the time I put the ring on that way.
No, you weren't. You were 25 when you married me.
Oh, yeah, I was 24. Okay, adult though.
Yes. Okay, that's neither here nor there. Okay, so 5 months, he puts a ring on layaway. And then so we're starting from the official day of being boyfriend and girlfriend. And then 9 months later, he proposes. And then 7 months after that, we are married.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how I envisioned it going.
Yeah.
But so my thing is,
But don't act like I kidnapped you. You
didn't,
said yes to everything.
No. No. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is,
Because I think you think back on the times like, yeah, that was fast. You know, I didn't get to do a lot.
I didn't. I do.
That's your fault.
Excuse me?
That's your fault.
Is it my fault though?
Yeah. You could have said no and lost.
We've talked about this. When did we talk about this? Did we talk about this on the podcast? But we did recently talk about this and how, like, if I would have said no, or like, can we just hold on a second? You would have moved on. You would not have waited for me. You said that.
I would have waited openly.
So you would have been dating other people?
Absolutely.
That is lame.
Why is it lame?
Because I knew I wanted to marry you. I just, like, I'm literally out here trying to find my own place to live, and Glenn is over here, like, trying to talk me out of it.
Yeah.
You remember that? He was going with me to look at places.
Babe, I wasn't trying to talk you out of it. I just was like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
You weren't encouraging the process.
I wasn't encouraging, but I wasn't like, yeah, I think this is a terrible place to live.
Yeah.
And your friends might try to rob you. And I didn't say none of that. I just was like, I don't know. It seemed like it'd be better just to stay home.
Because he knew his intentions were to marry me sooner than later.
Yeah.
Anywho,
but
I do like if I were to talk to young women right now, I would say, don't take for granted the time that you have without a husband, even if you're in a dating relationship and you guys are intending to get married one day. Like, don't take for granted. Are you feeling some type of way?
No. I love this conversation.
Don't take for granted the time that you have, because
What does that mean? Time that you have single?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Right. I don't know. Something I just came.
This is the sound of regret, ladies and gentlemen. This is what regret sounds like.
This is what regret sounds like.
I don't like that.
Sorry.
I don't regret anything. I do feel like the luxury of being able to be in my home alone, in a clean home, alone by myself, even if it's not clean, just at home by myself, like, I don't get that. And I think about the days before, like, getting married or whatever, that I could have just, like, been in my underwear on the couch watching whatever the heck I wanted to watch without being judged
by me.
Glenn be talking about me in my British shows that I like to watch.
Didn't you have enough time in your youth watching Days of Our Lives in the black and bold, this beautiful?
Oh my gosh. So Victor died. I just saw an article that he died or whatever, and I sent it to my mom, and I was like, oh, she's like, I wonder how they're going to kill him off. And I was like, you still watch that? My mom has been watching Days of Our Lives for longer than I am, right? Because I think it was before I was, she watched it with her mom. So I'm 35. My mom has been watching Days of Our Lives for over 35 years. At some point, it got to be too much for me. Like, I just couldn't do it anymore. Anywho, but I just, like eating pork, beans, and rice without, because I want to. See, look at Glenn's face. I actually like pork, beans, and rice. I know it's a poverty food, or I don't even know if it's a poverty food. So, no, whatever. If you are eating pork, beans, rice, I wish I was at your dining room table, because my family, they don't. And
I mean, you could be married with 4 beautiful children in the house, living lavishly, with plenty of lotion, plenty of foods, eating food that's outside of the can. I've turned you on to a lot.
Yes.
You miss pork, beans, and rice. Fine. If that's the route you want to take, that's how you want to go about things in life, that's on you. I apologize for removing you from pork, beans, and rice, canned cranberry sauce, in freaking Days of Our Lives.
Babe.
I apologize.
Babe.
I am so sorry.
No, I'm not.
I understand what you're saying,
Okay,
though.
thank you.
Like,
Gosh.
you want freedom without responsibility.
Yes. So I actually sent a voice memo to Janae the other day, and I was like, I never got to have a season of irresponsibility. Like in my youth, like as a child, I was still super responsible. Then I went to college and was still super responsible. Then I came home and was still super responsible, like, and then I got married and I was super responsible. And I'm just like, I didn't get to be irresponsible. Like, I just want to be reckless with my life. I want to spend money, not reckless, but I want to be able to make reckless decisions without the like weight of the consequence being as grand as it would be now. Does that make sense?
I would love to hear from people who have that freedom and ask, what's the cost of that? Because those seasons of recklessness end up with responsibility.
You mean like just having sex out in the streets and then getting pregnant?
I'm
not talking about that
possibly.
kind of irresponsibility. I'm talking like the type of irresponsibility I'm talking about.
You talking about just having lazy days?
Lazy days. Paying for a last minute trip to Hawaii. Like, you know what? I feel like going to Hawaii. I'm going to go right now. I'm going to buy a ticket. I'm going to leave tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about those types of adventures and...
Can you guys see me dwindling on YouTube?
Why are you dwindling? I don't understand. Am I feeling... Are you making me...
I'm trying not to make this about me because I understand.
Yeah, it's totally not about you. The life that we've lived together is a good life. I'm grateful for my life with you. I do believe that you have made me better and you have allowed me to experience things that I probably wouldn't have experienced when I experienced them, if that makes sense. However, I don't know.
Yeah.
I love you.
Thanks.
I would, if you propose, like if I could go back in time, I would still say, of course.
Well, the thing is, I understand what you're saying. I just like those, I don't know. Like, so I did live recklessly. And I do believe, I don't know if it's for a man, it's different, but I do think there's something to be said about the time that you have and not doing anything with it. You know, not like learning a new skill or meeting people, going out, building community, investing in yourself in ways that you wouldn't have before. Like even in those days where I had time to be reckless, I still was making responsible decisions to better my future. You know, even my community. Right? Like, I don't even know who would have been I'm almost more concerned about, like, who would you have been kicking it with? Like, who would have been your community then?
Honestly, I probably would have moved to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Like, you would have found me in Atlanta, and I probably would have found community in that way.
If someone could make a spin-off of like who Yvette would be without me. Because like to me, like it does seem like you fantasize. I said this before, but you fantasize about this. You fantasize about that life.
There was a season, babe. I actually talked to this about my original therapist before I left her. Before I broke up. I kind of missed her too. Anywho, there was a season when I would pass apartment buildings and like daydream about having
that is crazy.
My own apartment and how it would be decorated and, you know, all the things.
Yeah, I feel so sorry for you.
Don't feel sorry for me. But like I said, that was a season. And then there became a season where it was like, nah, I'm living a good life. And I think that is definitely, I don't know how to like explain it, but like the fact that you gave me Sunday to like just go do whatever you need to do, that was a good day. Like the way that I got to spend it, and I was very intentional about spending it how I wanted to spend it. And I think that there's just not as many opportunities for me to think about myself and myself only. You know what I'm saying? Like there hasn't been a season of me, myself, and I. It's always been me in school, me and my husband and children. And I think that is the part that if I am more intentional in this season of saying, okay, I need to have a me, myself, and I day, or whatever the case may be, I will be fine. Because I do acknowledge the fact that like my time, like at some point, I'm going to be an empty nester. And it was like when I went on the retreat that time and I was sitting in the backyard just to hear the sound of children play. You know what I mean? Like I love my kids and I can't imagine my life without you or them. I just know.
It seems like you imagine it a lot.
I have daydreamed. And have you not daydreamed of a life without us?
No.
I mean, like, this is probably sounding so bad.
I don't. I mean,
I love my family, yo.
I don't fantasize, because if you take away you guys, you take away who I am. So I would be someone different. You know what I'm saying? And I don't necessarily value that other side. Like I probably would be definitely more self-caring, a lot more selfish. Like I would be a little bit more, focused on me, which is probably a good thing. But I don't know all the things that I've learned and I've discovered about myself and ways that I've grown. I'm a better person because of my family, Anyway, because I do feel like this is a conversation that I hear people talk about a lot when they talk about being single and being free and not having to worry about XYZ, right? It is like, like I'm out here. You know what I'm saying? There is a part of everybody that wants to belong to a community that is bigger than them. And when you have had a part in creating that community and the culture in that community, it gives you ownership to a bigger moving purpose, a bigger moving entity, right? And that is it's incredible. I understand though I wanted that moment. I wish I had more time to myself. I wish we had more time, just us.
Yeah. And even if we could go back to then, I think that would be wonderful.
And I didn't go to college like that. So during my time, like when I was doing music, I was spending a lot of that time by myself. Like I didn't have a TV. I didn't watch TV. I didn't eat red meat. Like I was like on some
you were.
I was very like aware, conscious, disciplined, Bible study, 8% body fat. Legalism. Like I was loving myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I get that you didn't have that.
Yeah.
So
there was just no. But I'm not even sure if what I imagined life would have been like then would have actually been what I imagined. You know what I mean? Like for some reason, I'm like, maybe I would have found myself sooner or like been more solid in who I was as an individual or who I am. But I don't even know if that was possible then, to be honest, because I was a part of a church community that probably wasn't the healthiest. And I was
Definitely wasn't.
in hindsight. And I was who everyone expected me to be. And I'm not sure that I would have, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry for you.
Don't feel sorry for me.
I am. But yeah, so this young man,
Yes.
we talked, and I kind of wanted to explain to him that, like, I didn't go this deep into it, but like at 24 years old, everybody I was close to was married, except for me, James, and Mikkel. Mm-hmm. Right? So we just looking like the all ball, third wheel, hanging out with my sister and her husband, and other friends of ours who were married, and it's kind of like, hey man, and they're trying to hook me up with their friends, and their friends I don't find attractive, right? Mm-hmm. And it was weird. It was very awkward and weird. And so by being in a community like that, like getting married is much more common that age, right? So if you're around a bunch of people and all your people are married, then it makes sense for you to do that in the same culture. But I told him that one of the things that I would look at when you want to marry somebody and you're trying to figure out if it's been enough time is just understanding, like, you don't know that person outside of the season you're in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So as long as you're okay with the fact that this person is going to change and you're not going to love them less or treat them differently because they're changing.
Yeah.
Then fine, but it takes a while to know someone in different seasons.
Yes.
Now, some of you are so involved with the seasons that it matters to you how that person is when they are pregnant, during the summertime, during the wintertime, during the holiday season. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, perfect example. I'm not big on holidays, right? You've been like, yo, I want to go to my aunt's house for on Christmas Day. And I'm like, I don't want to go. As a matter of fact, I'm not going. On Christmas Day, I worked on music. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it felt really good about that. And you were like, the disdain I had for you, how could you not? Right? Mm-hmm. Those were things that we worked through, of course. Mm-hmm. But some people are like, yo, based on who you are in this season, I cannot deal with you any longer. And I just said, for myself, I was determined to be committed to my wife, regardless of the season, till the end of her or me. You know what I'm saying? That was basically it, the commitment. And I think that's the difference between how you're ready, right? Is if you're determined to love someone regardless of the season. I do think giving a year is good, but I don't think you can really put a time limit on it. What do you think?
Yeah. So that's the part that I was kind of like, ew. I think I agree with you because when you are like, he's been dating her for 2 months, you said? Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2 months is not enough time to me, in my opinion. However, I don't know that we can actually put a time on what is enough time. You remember, oh my gosh, why can't I think of her name? Black Student Union. Was she the president? What was her name?
I know who you're talking about.
Her parents knew each other or dated for like a week, and then they got married. Mm-hmm. Have I told you this story, or has she told you this story?
No.
And they've been married decades. Mm-hmm. It worked out for them.
But did it though? We don't know.
I mean, I'm sure they experienced some really hard times. But it worked. I mean, they're still married. I mean,
Yeah, but
right.
that's not the goal,
God.
right?
Right. Ugh. That's really hard because there are a lot of people that are married and
Yeah, still married. It's kind of like, man, I can't stand
I
her,
can't
man.
believe
Why don't
y'all
you go
are-
out of town with your sister or something?
yeah, man. Lord, that's a really good question. Yeah. So I definitely think that there is an amount of time that is a good amount of time. I don't know because like if you think about it, in 2 months, you've probably talked on the phone, let's just say every other day, so 30 days total. And you've probably seen each other at least once or twice a week. So that is 8 to 16 times.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Is that enough time to get to know somebody?
Either way, when you get married, it's a whole different ballgame.
It's a whole different ballgame.
It's not even. It's like saying you, like you love Jamaica and you love to go on vacation to Jamaica because you've been there once, and then living in like Kingston in the slums or something.
Yeah, like we went to an all-inclusive resort. That's what we experienced. We didn't even get to see Jamaica.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's like going to Baltimore, going to the Inner Harbor, and then living in Park Heights, which is that street I took you down. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you get to see the slums of a person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what? Okay. Yeah. So, So you're saying from your perspective that when you get to a point and you know that you want to, like, it doesn't matter what season or whatever, you just know that you want to be with this person, then that's the time.
It's not so much I know I want to be with you. It's that I'm committed 100% to who you are, who you're becoming, no matter what. I know what I'm worth. I know that if it's 2 months, if it's 8 months, like, I mean, I think 2 months is not enough time, personally. You know what I'm saying? I just think about the first 2 months we were together, I didn't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? Think about this. A whole year after we got together, I broke my 2 front teeth. We went through a lot in that little bit of time. You know what I'm saying? I had a job, lost a car, biked to work, Starbucks gift cards.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? I was a tutor. I was, working at a hotel. Like, I was doing so many different things. You were waking up 4 o'clock in the morning, going to the gym, being hit on by a personal trainer. You know what I'm saying? Like, in your curriculum, or what is it called? Credential program. You were in a wedding. We got to see all of our friends. We celebrated some holidays together. You went to my sister's wedding. Like, it was quite a bit going on. You know what I mean? We got to mesh a little bit.
And I think too, what is valuable is family dynamics, getting to observe and experience that before marrying the person, because your family is such a huge part of who you are and how you operate, whether they inform why you don't do things, or they may inform why you do react or
right. We talk about a lot of this in e-course.
We do. So yeah, 2 months is definitely too short. However, I don't know that there is a time frame.
But it's also like, okay, so let's ask what type of person you are, right? Instead of saying it's 2 months enough time, right? Like, this same person, he's a door-to-door salesman. He came to me last year with the same energy.
Seen him?
I've seen him before.
With the same energy as what? With about a girl?
No, about the product.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, at least he's had the same job consistently
for a year.
Door-to-door salesman. That's not easy.
That's not easy at all.
You know what I'm saying? So he might be the type of person, when it comes to getting what he wants, whether it's income, you know what I'm saying, or someone's heart, he might be as persistent.
And he purchased quality socks.
You saw his socks?
I heard him talking to you about him.
Man, he was trying to like do that thing where salesmen, like, I was just like, man, you don't have to sell me, bro. You don't have to you don't have to get me to like you. But you're not trying to make a sale here, right? You're trying to prove someone that you got their back for the rest of their life, you know? So I don't know. I think that is something to be said. What type of person are you? Are you, if you experience something for a very short amount of time, are you willing to make a lifelong commitment to that? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I said something to him, and this is when I thought that he might not be ready. Because I was like, I was like, you know, as long as you understand that she's going to change. He's like, well, hopefully she changed for the better. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, nah, better or worse. That's what the commitment is. Like,
You said that to him?
Yeah. I said it's better or worse. Like, for better or worse, you're going to be there. You know what I'm saying? And if you can be there through that, then cool. He was like, oh, man, that was deep. That's when he was like, I wish we were recording this. And I just pointed to the doorbell.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah. I mean, that is a really good point because even think about, you know, Pat and Shan, for example, and how, like, you just never know what's going to happen. And he's going to heal, but it's a long journey to healing. And I'm sure the dynamics of their relationship is impacted by that. And
for those of you that don't know, the pastor of our church, the
godfather of our children,
is a Ironman
World
triathlon, and he got triathlete, and he qualified for the World Championships. Went to go racing in Utah and was one of only 2 people who got hit by a car during his bike ride. They had to give him CPR on the spot. They thought he was going to die. And he went to the hospital and was on meds and all that stuff. Broke almost a lot of bones on his right side. It was bad. It was really bad. So I went up there to see him and spent some time with him, and then he just got back home.
Before Thanksgiving.
Right before Thanksgiving. So he was out for about 3 weeks. And that's what Yvette was referring to when she was talking about Pat and Shan.
Yeah, I feel like my perspective, even like with Tanner and his wife, and how Glenn just married them last year. And before he got married, they knew he had the battle with leukemia. And he just lost the battle last week on Thanksgiving.
He passed away.
And this young lady is now like a widow, but even like she entered into marriage understanding his illness and the possibility that it would lead to this, you know? And so I feel like those are the types of things that you need to have an understanding of. Because even after they got married, I think he had spent some time in the hospital. And that was just, I don't know. It's
he's been in the hospital for most of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
And it's not always the bad.
It's not.
And it's not always physical. Sometimes it's mental.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Which is physical, but yeah. It's not a physical impairment, but it's physical. Mental, emotional. Okay, got it.
I don't know. I feel like those are 2 different things.
Yeah.
But it could manifest physically, but yeah. If you can understand that you're committed to someone through better or worse, you're 100%, whatever it takes, I'm going to get the job done. And I think you can make that decision, but I don't know you, right? I don't know your staying power. I don't know your level of endurance, your work ethic when it comes to love. No, I'm just talking about them.
Oh.
The question is very unfair because only you know what you're willing to do, you know? And even still, you really don't know what you're willing to do until you get to that point where you're kind of like, man, I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you get to a point like, I'm not doing that. You know, there's certain things in our marriage. I'm like, I'm not doing that. You do it. I'm not doing it, you know? And it's nothing crazy, but some things when it comes to the anatomy, I just ain't finna. I'm not going there.
What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about. I don't know if I can say this on video.
Mute it and then whisper.
Marriage is ghetto. This is ghetto.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Black Love for the sweater. I'm wearing it this week. We unboxed it last week. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
That was random. How married are you, babe?
I made sure the other night that I cleaned the dishes before I went to bed, which is something that you usually do. Was that last night? Monday night or Sunday night? Mm-hmm. Yeah, after you left. You got back from your day, and I was like, I'm going to do these dishes before because Yvette had to make breakfast in the morning. See, I don't like how you're smiling like I didn't do a good job.
Babe, you forgot to start the dishwasher. So the following morning I woke and I was like, God bless his soul.
But did I put the little tablet in?
You did. You had it all in there. It just wasn't started. And I
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh,
that's a bummer.
what a fail.
But I really did. I mean, that was good. I
Dang.
appreciated you taking that time to do that because you know that that's something
No wonder you want to be single. I can't get nothing right. How married are you, babe?
I'm so married that today when I wanted to make a simple run to the store for my lunch, I spent a good way too long buying snacks for the office so that you didn't have to.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and these guys here are a trip.
Yeah, man. The stuff that they requested.
It's like
Raisins, fruit roll-ups, cashews, protein shake.
Protein drinks.
It's like, okay, great. But the thing is like, it is so hard for me to get to Target.
What I think you should start doing is drive up order and then send one of them to get it or something.
Yeah, that's smart.
However, there are a lot of those things on the list. I was like, oh, this would be better to get at Costco because it would be less expensive. And then like those beef sticks that I got, should get those from Trader Joe's. They're cheaper there.
Okay.
But anywho.
All right.
And that's just how married we. What? Did I go too fast?
Yeah.
And that's just how married we are.